All right, I'm super excited today because we are kicking off the villain series, and who doesn't love a villain? Am I right? I know we all love a villain because I know what you book girlies are reading. I know you love a morally gray character, and you can tell me why it started with Kovu from The Lion King if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. I know I grew up watching Disney villains, as a lot of us did, and I always found myself gravitating towards them because I'm like, wow, they get the best songs, they have such cool outfits, they have cool layers, they've got things going on, they're trying to take over kingdoms, like they're trying to get stuff done. There's a couple villains I think, like Jafar. I don't Are there any Jafar lovers here? I don't know. In the Morley Gray series, we're going to take a look at villains over different books, authors who create really complex characters and really subvert the idea of who is a villain and who is not. The next one is going to be Liz Moore, and we're going to look at Long Bright River and The God of the Woods. Those two books have just stuck with me. And I think Liz Moore did an absolute masterclass on creating villains and heroes. Who is it? Who it's not. So that is going to be the next video. But in this video, we are starting with the assistant to the villain series. The one I have on top is apprentice to the villain. So there's 3 books thus far. I believe there's a 4th one coming out in August. This started as a TikTok video series, I believe, and then Hannah Nicole Maehrer, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, created them into a book. I personally love the covers. I think they're very cutesy. I've seen the criticism of these books. I don't want to get into it too much. The Morally Gray series is really going to be diving into the characters themselves, so this is not really a book review necessarily. I've done more of that on my Substack. If you want to take a look, there is a full review of this series on my Substack, Mariah in the margins. But I've read the criticism. I understand why it's there. I really do. I think now reading is so popular again, which I love on one hand, but I think when things like it's the same thing with film, it's any art, right? There's always those people who come in and they're like, "Well, this isn't art or this isn't good enough." And sometimes you just want to enjoy a story. That's why I created my Substack and the YouTube video. Like, I really just enjoy reading. I love it so much. I want to consume everything. I've never, well, no, that's not true. I have DNF'd one singular book in my life. Do I want to share it? Maybe I'll flash it on the screen. It was a really popular book, and I liked the plot. I liked I'll read anything for the plot. I really will. This writing was so, I couldn't finish it. This writing, it's cutesy. It's a cutesy little story. It's adorable. We're following the villain, number 1, Evie Sage, who's kind of our heroine. She's plunky. This is a sunshiny, grumpy trope, which I love in a book. I also love a slow burn. This is not a very spicy book at all. I think it's adorable. And sometimes you just want to read an adorable little story, right? So as we get into it, Evie Sage, our heroine, meets the villain right away. So Hannah Nicole Maehrer is telling us right away who the villain is supposed to be, right? Who the villain of the story is. Literally the villain. And we find out as we go through that might not be totally the case. So, who are our suspects for who is the villain in this series? Because the villain is not always who the author puts out there as the villain, right? Because a lot of it is, again, back to you book talk girlies, back to you haunting Adeline girlies. It's who we as the audience, or we as the reader, are able to accept as a villain or a hero or morally gray, somewhere in between, right? It's who are we putting in that category of bad, evil, morally gray, mostly good, and what are the factors that have us put characters in those separate buckets? I think there's a common theme we'll see through this series as we look at different villains, but we'll see as it unfolds. So our first suspect for the villain of the story is the villain. How many times can I say villain, guys? But it's the villain who we find out later is named Tristan Mavrin. What a hot name. What a hot name. That's a hero name. We find out Tristan Mavrin is the villain, and I mean, he is a villain. He is thwarting King Benedict's every move. He is killing people. He lives in Massacre Manor. He is tormenting like his interns and his staff. He's killing the Gallant Knights. He is set up to be a villain. Okay. So we have him. We have Evie Sage. I know I'm including her as a suspect for being the villain because we see right away that she is not this happy go lucky, sunshiny girl that maybe we're led to believe. She has an edge to her. And there's going to be, I mean, if you're watching this, you have to know there's spoilers, but spoilers, there's a prophecy throughout the series, and that's really setting up the adventure that everyone goes on, right? It's setting up the backstory, the actions moving forward. But in the prophecy, there is a blackened good heart, right? I believe it says, beware the blackened good heart. In these three books, we think it's going to be Evie. I'm not sure that's true yet. Not sure that's true. After the third one, I'm not so sure that it is Evie, but either way, we have the villain, we have Evie. When I was writing my article for Substack about this and I was thinking about the video, Evie and Tristan remind me so much of Wesley and Buttercup from The Princess Bride. And then as I was thinking about it, so our next suspect is King Benedict, King of Rendon, right? Rendon's losing his magic. The magic, he's telling people he's trying to like fix it, get it back. We find out that's really not true. He tries to low key like kill Evie at one point and, you know, display her body essentially to show the kingdom that like good is not only triumphing in him, but also look at what the villain has done. He's evil. You know, we need to hate him. We need to be against him. They obviously put King Benedict as a subject for the villain because Hannah Nicole Maehrer is very clearly trying to subvert the fairy tale, right? We have the villain, the heroine, the princess, whatever, and the king. And King Benedict is so Prince Humperdinck, isn't he? He's so Humperdinck. Am I wrong? She's trying to subvert this classic fairy tale, which again, love it. Love it for the story. She's trying to subvert the fairy tale, the classic fairy tale. That's the entire point of the series. We're thinking that King Benedict might not be the good guy that he's putting out there. However, I still don't think we know what his ultimate plans are. I can't really tell. You tell me. Maybe I am not picking up on something, but I will tell you I am this close from setting up a full room connecting Sarah J. Maas and all of the books and everything. I'm pretty quick on it, quick on the patterns. I can't really tell what Humperdinck, oh my God, Humperdinck, what King Benedict is trying to do. Is he purposefully trying to drain the magic, but then he's using all these magical resources? Like, I am very confused, right? And why he's a suspect for the villain, he's using magical resources, for example, right? Like Nora, um, Gideon, the father. Ugh. He's a suspect. If he wasn't such a minor character, he's definitely a suspect for being a villain. He's using all of these people, the Gouvra. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. The Gouvra, so not a dragon, but it seems kind of similar to a dragon. Uh, and keeping them imprisoned and locked up away from each other. So we are feeling as the reader very anti King Benedict, right? Like I'm not sure that there's any people on his side out there as the readers. We're very much meant to be on the side of Tristan and Evie. Also Becky, right? Becky's mother is very interesting. I always love when there is a mother figure in these books who is making some odd choices, right? Like, what is her name? Rena. I can't remember Becky's mother's name right now. I could look. And then Nora, who is Evie's mother. They are very complicated characters. Very complicated characters. I think motherhood always adds like a very, very interesting layer when we're talking about like who's a good guy and who is a villain. But those are our suspects. I think we have Tristan, obviously the villain, Evie, King Benedict. I think those are our main suspects here. And then if we were getting into some more of the minor characters, Nura is acting real weird. Like I said, Becky's mother, Tristan's mother, right? I also am wondering what Tristan's sister and Tatiana are gonna get up to, because it seems like Claire has a secret, and I'm like very interested to see what happens with them, because I think that's what's cool about this series is no one is straightforward, and we as the reader are really trying to parse out, like, okay, well, Tristan really treats Evie well and protects her, so we'll put that in like the good bucket. But then he's also putting heads on spikes. So like that's not great. So it's like, as the reader, what buckets are we putting characteristics or actions in, and where does that leave us, right? So what is the verdict? Who is the villain of this story? Honestly, I don't think we know yet. I don't think we know yet. Tristan, the villain, has been set up as the villain, but we see in the third book that King Benedict is really the reason for his death magic, for a lot of things that have gone wrong in his life in the last 10 years. We have Kingsley, the frog, the frog prince, right? I love all the storybook elements in this series. I really do. I love it. So I don't think we know. I can't imagine Tristan is going to end up being the actual villain of the story, right? Where he does something so evil, so atrocious that we as the reader can't get over it, right? Again, that's why this series is called Morally Gray. Because I think we as readers are fine with morally gray, but it's like, where are those boundaries, right? So for Evie, again, I'm worried about the prophecy. I'm worried about what is going on with her. The fate prophecy, that the fate monster, which I will say, Hannah, we couldn't think of like a better name or like anything for the fate monster. I just thought we could come up with something better. But the fate monster is talking to Tristan in that weird pit at Becky's parents' house, which, like, why is that there? And why do they only have access to it? I have so many questions about a lot. But anyway, the fate monster is telling Tristan that he is going to be Evie's downfall. Evie's going to be his downfall, and he's going to be her undoing, and he thinks that this is a really bad thing. He's really nervous. I actually read that in a completely different way. So I think he is supposed to be thinking that it's bad. He's supposed to be trying to stay away from Evie. He's supposed to be like, oh my God, I'm so concerned with you and your future. And I don't want you to be like evil like me and like angsty like me. Wear black all day like me. I think he's trying to save her from that. But I think that prophecy is actually a good thing and is about them falling in love. The other one, though, the blackened good heart, Gideon is thinking that it could be Evie. I am worried about that. I'm worried that she kind of takes a turn, and then Tristan, it kind of flips, right? Tristan is like, oh my God, like, what's going on with you? You're being evil, and like, I'm actually good this whole time. And now we're on opposite ends, right? So I'm kind of worried about that. King Benedict, obviously a villain, right? Although, again, this is the only thing I'll say about King Benedict. We don't really like know his motivations yet. You tell me if you have seen or figured out what his motivations are, but I don't think we know. He's trying to solve the prophecy, destroy the prophecy. He's trying to take magic for himself. I don't think that we really know. It's not clear. So he's definitely the villain right now, because everything that he's doing doesn't seem to be for the greater good. There's no one, like Tristan has Evie, right? So we're like, oh, he's like protecting her. He's just like, you know, he's killing everybody for her, or like, you know, classic spicy romance reader justification, right? I get it. I'm with you. I read them too. I get it. But we don't know. We don't know anything about King Benedict. We don't know what's going on with Nora and why he's like obsessed with her. And obviously he's trying to kill Evie. So I don't know. I don't know about King Benedict yet. I would say, if we're going to stamp a villain, put our villain stamp on someone, it's got to be King Benedict at this point. But again, there is a fourth book coming out in August. I'm so excited. I ran through these books so quickly. I'm really hoping that the fourth book is the last one, though. I think a lot of series are getting too long these days. So I'm confused in a good way at the end of this book. I'm wanting to know what's next. I'm wanting more. And I want to know who is going to be the ultimate villain. We'll have to make an updated video. But I thought this was the perfect series to start with because this author is telling you up front who the villain is, right? Or is she? Because we're subverting that classic fairy tale. So I thought this was a perfect jumping in point. But what do you think? What about Tristan makes us disregard his like flopping a dead body on Evie's desk on her first or second day or something? He has like a scatter day for interns where he's like, I think shooting them with bow and arrow, if I remember correctly. He's like throwing them off of the castle for insulting Evie and stuff. So, what is it about Tristan that makes us think that he's not the villain, that makes us want to root for him, right? Is it his angsty past? Is it how much he cares for Kingsley, for Tatiana, even Claire, Evie, right? The people that he cares about. He's right, that grumpy trope, but what is it about him? Because he does these terrible things, right? So why is he not the villain? Why don't we think he's the villain? And then on the other side of it, why are we more upset by King Benedict, right? Is it because Hannah Nicole Maehrer has made us root for the villain? Obviously, we're rooting for Evie, but has she made us root for the villain so much that King Benedict seems like the evil one because he's potentially harming his whole kingdom? And Tristan is kind of like really focused on King Benedict. However, it's a very small, I think it's only one sentence or so. At one point, something that Tristan did caused like a famine in Red Dawn. So he's not without blame. And that's what I'm saying, guys. That's what this whole series is about. Who do we as the reader term the villain? Who are we comfortable with calling the villain? Is it different or the same from who the author is putting out there as the villain? So you tell me, did you love this series? Did you think it was cute and adorable like I did? I thought it was such a quick read. Again, it's not very spicy. I think it is a romance. It's got like some magic, some adventure, just a wonderful, cute little read. And what do you think? Who's the villain? Who are your suspects? Who's going to be the ultimate villain of the series? Let me know in the comments. Check out my Substack too. I go into a little bit more detail on the different characters, and I definitely talk a little bit more about the connections to Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies. I just love that movie. But I will see you guys in the next video. In the Morally Grey series, we have again a look at Liz Moore, specifically Long Bright River and the God of the Woods, and those characters. Liz Moore just is incredible at setting up morally gray characters. And then we have two other series segments coming out. We have At the Table, where we're going to go through books as if you have to go to like a pretentious in-laws dinner party or a pretentious in-law Thanksgiving, your theater boyfriend's, I don't know, snap circle, whatever they do. But At the Table is going to be a look at those more, I don't want to say highbrow reads at all, but things like The Secret History, some nonfiction. I love reading nonfiction as well. So a little bit more academic reads are going to be for At the Table. Again, the premise is to be able to discuss these things, kind of break them down and make them more accessible because nothing is that pretentious, guys. I see some of this discourse online. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not that serious. So we'll break it down in that series. And then the third series is called Tongue in Cheek, which I thought was hilarious. But I am a huge romance reader. I'm a huge romantasy reader. The book that I'm writing, I guess, is technically a romantasy, I guess. there's Greek gods, there is romance, there's a war, there's all kinds of things, but tongue in cheek, which I thought was so funny, is going to really just be looking at romance books, and that will be more of a review style. What I loved about them, why I think they were successful or maybe not so successful as a romance at a romantasy. But that's going to be more of like a chit chat with your girlfriends talking about the latest, romance read. It's like a first date, like, oh, what did he do? Did he hold the door? Like, do you like him? Are you gonna text him back? So more of a kiki, more of a chit chat. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stick around for more of our Morally Gray series. And like I said, at the table and tongue in cheek coming up. You can always find me here. You can find me on Substack, Mariah in the Margins, and also I'm trying to post more on TikTok, Mariah in the Margins as well. But until next time, keep reading.